everybody, welcome back to Entertaining the Thought. I wanted to do a really quick vlog because this movie has been getting a lot of differing opinions on it, and I just wanted to get my thoughts out on a vlog. I just came back from Brave, the newest Pixar movie. Now, for those who may not know, I am a giant Pixar fan. They're currently my favorite production company. Currently my favorite production company. And nearly every one of their movies has not only been good, but like excellent. Like their library has some of the best movies that American cinema has made. And so if you guys saw last year that I put Cars 2 as my worst movie of the year, and to be fair, really the reason that it got put on there was because I didn't really see any other family films. I guarantee you probably like the third Alvin and the Chipmunks or the Smurfs or Spy Kids 4 would probably be in there somewhere, and Cars 2 may not have made it on the list if I had seen those, but unfortunately it technically was because it had the same attitude as those movies. It was just a little bit better because it came from Pixar, and Pixar, you know, usually tries to find something, but unfortunately they didn't with Cars 2. So I went into Brave with apprehension. It was interesting because it was Pixar's first period piece. It was set in ancient Scotland, and I guess what people really dislike about the movie is that it's not as the movie is very stock. It's pretty basic, unfortunately, which sucks to say about Pixar movies. It's a very basic movie. You know, it has a 3-act structure, and the characters are likable enough, but like, you know, you get like Merida's 3 little brothers are disturbingly reminiscent of the minions from Despicable Me. They don't have any dialogue. They're just kind of there to cause mischief and, you know, like do silly things and stuff like that. So I think that's probably the weakest part, is that like it's taking some cues from other movies, and I don't know if that's because Brenda Chapman, I don't know whether she was fired or she left the project. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it was. I don't remember the name of the male director, unfortunately, but this movie, they did credit 2 directors, and so like her work is obviously still in this, and I guess the problem with Brave is that like I said, it's just really generic, and it's not usually up to Pixar standards. Now, that all being said, that doesn't make Brave a bad movie. Brave is far from a bad movie. It's pretty enjoyable. The one movie that I kept thinking about when watching this was a movie called Quest for Camelot, which it was, I think it was Warner Brothers Animation, and I don't know if Warner Brothers does animation anymore. I think, unfortunately, even though they produced a great movie like The Iron Giant, they were producing stuff like Quest for Camelot and a couple of other things. And so I just kept getting reminded of Quest for Camelot. I feel like this movie would have been much more appreciated in the 90s. This had a very 90s animated family film feel to it. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. There are plenty of great 90s animated movies. I mean, like, you get really big exceptions like The Lion King or stuff like that, or like Hunchback, you know, mainly Disney films. But, you know, like people remember Fern Gully. People remember I mean, it's not a bad movie, but like Aladdin kind of felt like this too. It just has that real 90s quality to it, and I thought that was interesting because it really felt like this is something I feel like I would have been sat in the theater when I was 8 watching with my parents, just like that's how this movie felt. It felt like a real '90s film. Like there were a lot of '90 like it's a period piece. It's a fairy tale. There's some contemporary music in it, which I really enjoy. I really enjoy contemporary music in films. Even though usually score wins out, I appreciate contemporary music in films more. Like the scene in Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1 when Harry and Hermione are dancing. I think that's a really strong scene. And I think the fact that it's not to score, it's to a really depressing contemporary song really fits it. But yeah, Brave's not a bad movie. The acting is great. Billy Connolly is really funny in it, and the girl from Trainspotting is in it, and she's really good too. It was a very solid cast. It's definitely the best looking Pixar movie in a while. Like this was almost Wall-E level with its animation style and how beautiful it looked. It was a really, really gorgeous movie, and I think that's probably the biggest positive. The 3D was also pretty good. I wouldn't say it's necessary to see it in 3D, but I don't think you're gonna feel ripped off if you see it in 3D. The 3D is pretty decent. Yeah, it's just a gorgeous movie, and I think that's the best thing I could say about it, is that it's really gorgeous, and it's not a bad movie. And trying to compare it to other Pixar things, you're obviously you're gonna be setting yourself to a high standard, and unfortunately Pixar, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you watch it, Pixar has always been able to keep a consistent level of quality. So Pixar comes under a lot of scrutiny when they release a film that's unlike DreamWorks, who can I still don't understand how to Train Your Dragon got 93%. That still doesn't make any sense to me. And so Pixar is always going to come under a lot of scrutiny if they release a movie that's not up to par with the rest of their library. But for what Brave is a decent movie. I don't see it coming on my top 10 this year. I don't see myself remembering it, but for what it is, it's enjoyable. It's fun. There are a few jokes that got me through it. I guess the biggest problem I had is that it had a lot of DreamWorks type humor in it, like the three little boys, or Scottish people acting silly. Ho ho ho! Look at me. Although I did like that one character that spoke like Brad Pitt from Snatch. That made me laugh. But other than that, it's not Pixar's worst movie. Cars 2 still takes that title. I would say that it's definitely in the lower tier of the Pixar movies, but it's not like people are being like, oh, Pixar's dead, it's the death of the studio. It's not. That's probably going to be Monsters University. But we'll get to that bridge when we get to it. It's definitely not Pixar's worst movie. It's better than Cars 2 and Cars, and I'm not a big fan of A Bug's Life either, so it's definitely better than A Bug's Life. I would say that this is right below the first Toy Story. I think those are my bottom 5 for Pixar movies. It would be like Cars 2, Cars, Bug's Life, Brave, and then Toy Story. And it has a lot of it feels like a Pixar movie just filtered through Disney. It felt more like a Disney movie than a Pixar movie, and I think that's what people are really hung up about. And I don't personally think that's bad, because if you just look at the Pixar movies, they just keep going and getting better and better and better, and then Toy Story 3 was kind of like their pinnacle. I think it had the highest rating for any Pixar movie, except I think a couple had 100%. But since their role started from I'll say their role started from Monsters Inc. Let's say it was Monsters Inc. And then it kept going and building and building, and each film would be topping the last. Wall-E came out and everyone was like, oh my god, and then Up, and they were just like, oh my god, the first 5 minutes of that movie is so beautiful. And then Toy Story 3, I cried the entire movie. And then we got hit with Cars 2, which was unfortunate, and then now the follow-up to that is Brave. So I think people were burned by Cars 2, and then kind of had a bit of a negative reaction to Brave. Brave is a standard film. It's a family film. It's sorry, phone. It's nowhere near a terrible film. It's not like the family films that are coming out lately. But I guess I just wanted to get my thoughts down because I think this movie is being a little unfairly criticized just because it's being held to the highest standard by Pixar. It's better than a lot of the DreamWorks movies. It's better than anything from Illumination. I liked it better than Arrietty. I thought this was better than Arrietty, and so yeah. I mean, it's Pixar. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Like, Pixar always is going to have that rep, and so when you compare their not so great films to the rest of their library, you're gonna end up disappointed. So like, I guess if you want to see it, just go in knowing that not every Pixar movie can be, oh my god, amazing. You know, the studio is gonna have duds, and if they have duds, you know, it's gonna be disappointing. But is Brave a bad movie? Absolutely not. It's worth your money. It's worth your time. The movie's short anyway, and there's enough in there to keep you interested. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Brave. I just wanted to get that down because this movie has been getting a lot of differing opinions. So yeah, until next time, this has been Entertaining the Thought. I'll see you guys later. Svanji shall get in